Hello everybody, this is Jeremy Taylor on the dial. Welcome back to another video. Today we are doing another installment of our Nembrini Audio plugin series where we're going to be taking a look at some Nembrini Audio plugins and take a look at how they sound in a quick general mix. Now today's video is going to be featuring three specific plugins. It is going to be their double reverb guitar amplifier. This is an emulation of the Fender Twin Reverb from 1972, and as you see, it looks very nice. It has a very, very similar UI, and it has all of the cool bells and whistles that you're used to with Nembrini Audio. You're going to have the ability to, let's just bring it up, control the cabinets, control the microphones. You have your three blends of the close mics as well as the ambient mic. You can load your impulses, bypass the whole cabinet itself, and of course you can control the entire thing. You have the normal 1 and 2 bright switch with that, the vibrato channel 1 and 2 with the bright switch, and that also comes with a nice reverb to it. This is a really good sounding Fender Twin, and I actually decided to use it in this punk track because I kind of just dug the vibe. The next amp is going to be the Nembrini Audio Hivolt 103 Custom. Now, looking on the website, this is an emulation of the Hivolt DR103 from 1970. This is a classic amp and has a really nice kind of overdriven rock and roll sound. The other amp that we're using for the bass is going to be the Black Ice Beta Gamma. This is an emulation of the Dark Glass Alpha Omega 900 bass guitar head. This is a really cool bass amp, and I really, really dig it. The session also is loaded with Nembrini Audio plugins. We are using the Vulture for the intro guitar. That is going to be their Nembrini Audio Culture Vulture. And that's just giving me a nice gritty tone. And then I'm also utilizing the Echo Bandit rack unit. This is a emulation of their stomp pedal style tape echo delay. The rack unit basically gives you the control of the left and right sides, so you can actually create a really cool stereo image. And then for the other guitar, the Hivolt, I'm actually just driving that with the free Nembrini Audio 808 overdrive pedal. This is completely free and is going to cost you no money. The other thing that every single track has is an instance of Waves F6. I use this all the time because I use F6 whenever I do live sound, so I'm very used to it. And then I'm using the Tone Boosters Enhancer. This is just to give me some like harmonic excitement. And that's pretty much about it. There's really not much going on. I am using the Purified VU compressor on my bass, but that's just because I love that compressor on bass. Let's just get into it. And let's listen to this track. You're going to have an intro guitar that is going to be in mono. It's going to be having the Vulture, the Nembrini Audio double reverb, the F6, and then that is going to go into the Echo Bandit rack unit. So that is going to be our intro guitar. The bass is going to be pretty simple, and then we'll hear the whole track. So here we go. And once again, these tracks are provided to us by Musicomp Lit. They provided a ton of tracks for me to do content with. Unfortunately, their website is no longer in existence, but I am still going to shout them out because just in case they come back. So here we go. Cool. Pretty quick demo, really simple, short track, but you definitely got the vibe of what these amp sims are able to do. Let's just break it down. So let's look at the bass guitar. This is going to be the simplest thing. We have an intro guitar right here. It's not doing much. It's just sliding in and then just playing some basic notes. And the way that we're processing this is we're going through the Nembrini Audio Black Ice Beta Gamma. This is an emulation of the Dark Glass Alpha Omega 900. Now it's a really cool bass amp head, and it gives us a lot of really cool tones. You're able to choose between the modification of the beta and the gamma. You can blend in between the different distortion and the punch tones. It's really cool. Let's dial it in, and let's just slowly bring in the signal chain, which is the F6 and the purified VU compressor. So here it is, and we'll bring it in. Now I am slamming this. You can hear it as soon as I turn on the Black Ice Beta Gamma, it just cranks up in volume. That is intentional. Then I'm using the F6 to do a little bit of dynamic EQ and tonal shaping, and then I'm crushing it down with the purified VU compressor. And that is because I'm basically getting the same overall volume as I was with the bass amp turned off. I'm just cranking it. I am just driving this thing like crazy and then bringing it down with some really hardcore 1176 F series, revision F compression. The intro guitar, I think, is probably the most unique. This is using the Nembrini Audio The Vulture. This is their Culture Vulture emulation. I have distortion type P1 going on here, and then I am going to be going into the Fender Twin Reverb emulation. And these are the exact settings. One thing that I really like with Nembrini Audio is when you go into their cabinet section, you're able to actually control the whole amp right here. And I think this is a lot easier to control for me personally. I love the really realistic UI thing. It gives me a cool vibe. But to be honest, I want to control everything at once. And I am utilizing the VH 4x12 P50E. That is then going into the Waves F6. And then I'm making it nice and stereo using the Echo Bandit, because this is actually just an intro guitar. And if I play this with nothing on, it's just chilling, right? It's just chilling. So let's bring everything in one at a time. All right, that's the Vulture. Let's go for the double reverb. You can really hear when the Vulture comes in, it kind of drives it a little bit. Watch. It gives it a nice fat tone. I decided to use that over a distortion pedal just because I really like the Vulture. F6 is not a Nembrini Audio plugin, but I use it all the time because I use it whenever I use my SoundGrid server. All right, back to the signal chain. Right, it's just kind of making it a little bit darker. And then what I'm doing to make this nice and stereo is I'm using the Echo Bandit to give us some really cool, lush, kind of like tape echo sound. And it blends in really well when you listen into the track. And then obviously that goes into the more dry-driven guitars. I literally just spliced it. You can actually see in the section where I just had the intro guitar, I cut it and moved it to a different track, made it stereo. So the signal chain for our first left side guitar, let's make that mono right now, is the exact same signal chain. We have the Vulture, we have the Twin Reverb, and then we have the F6 in mono with a little bit different EQ, and then I'm using the Tone Boosters Enhancer to give it some more oomph. So check this out. pretty simple. It's not doing anything completely magical, but it's just giving us a tone. It's giving us like a nice, little bit growly grit, and it's more like a mid-range focused tone. The right side guitar is using the Nembrini Audio 808. This is completely free. And then we're using the Hivolt 103 Custom. Now this is an emulation of the vintage Hiwatt DR103 from 1970. This is a classic amp, and I really dig this tone. I'm using the linked mode where we have the brilliance both on and the normal channel 2. These are the exact settings that I'm using, and I'm not using much of the cleaner or the harsh at all. This is all using stock cabinets too, no impulses. I was really happy with this. This then goes into the F6 and then into the enhancer. So let's bring everything in one at a time. Now you're noticing here, I actually prefer the tone of the Hivolt without the EQ, but I kept the EQ on purpose because I wanted to have this gritty sound. It's supposed to be like a pop punk song, and I wanted it to have this like hairy tone to it. So I felt that that really blended in well with the Fender Twin, which is kind of like a more gnarly mid-focus tone. On the right side, we're having a more in-your-face kind of like fizzy tone. And then the drums are ML drums. I use ML drums all the time, and that is giving us this tone all together. That blended in with the Blackface Beta Gamma. Like I said, I'm driving this thing like crazy and then clamping it down. I don't want the bass to sound like this big, boomy, explosive bass. It is literally just being hard limited down and being like a wall of like, this is the low end, this is everything else. I think it sounds really good, and it really didn't take much effort. It was very quick to get this mixed down. Overall, I'm very impressed with these plugins. I really, really am a big fan of their Fender Twin Reverb emulation. I think they did a fantastic job. The Hivolt is a really cool plugin. I dig the vibe, and I actually jam out with this all the time. Not getting tones like this. I'm usually going for like a more rock and roll tone with this. And then I honestly think the Blackface Beta Gamma is my favorite bass amp sim that they make. I now own all of them. I bought them. So I just really liked all of them, and I ended up using this one most of the time. And I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was giving you a little glimpse of some possibilities you can get with these tones. I really like the way that Nembrini Audio dedicates a lot of time to making very simple and easy to use plugins that sound very, very good. I myself now own a majority of their plugins that I've purchased and have been given NFRs to, and I am really, really liking what they're doing. So I will leave links down below. Check them out. So grab a demo, take a look, and see what you like. This has been Jeremy Toth in the DAW. I will see you guys later. Bye.